Ahoy! Captain Benzie here, coming at you with a new Acting on Instinct. In this video, we're going to be looking at starting out with the GDI. Now I'm assuming here that you've completed the tutorial and have climbed to Iron 1, so you have all the basic guaranteed starter units unlocked. So you're now playing against other players, and you're perhaps unsure which units to use and when. Today, we're going to cover a well-balanced deck using only the units you'll definitely have at this point. So here's the deck I'd recommend. When building a deck, you need to ensure that it's balanced to take on almost any foe. Here, we're going to use riflemen and missile squads to scout and counter early plays. The missile squads can take out pit bulls or attack bikes that go for a harvester rush, and the riflemen protect the missiles from other riflemen. They're also great for scouting your opponent's base and seeing what they're up to in the early game. Once the Tiberium's flowing a little, we can move into the war factory. Here, we have a rhino to deal with enemy riflemen, or heavier infantry like shockwave troopers. We have pit bulls to take out light vehicles and air units, or go hunting harvesters ourselves, and a predator tank to deal with any vehicles our opponent throws out at us. Finally, zone troopers round out this deck with some anti-air and anti-vehicle punch. They're fragile to other infantry, so they will need the support of something like a rhino or a rifleman squad, but they're more than capable of punching holes in enemy tanks. This deck runs with the basic premise of starting with a barracks and a rifleman squad, which you would immediately rush across the battlefield to scout out what the enemy is doing. This allows you to plan out your next move. If you spot a war factory, it means an early rush is coming. Build missiles to block it. If your opponent has built a second harvester, you know you can harass it early and maybe sneak a kill with missiles or wait a moment and pull out a pit bull. From here, it's just a case of watching what your opponent creates, or perhaps thinking ahead as to what their likely counters are going to be, and building for it. With enough Tiberium, if you destroy their harvester for example, you can build into the tech lab and bring out zone troopers which will punch through any heavy vehicles like predator tanks, titans, or sandstorms. If your opponent has unlocked orcas, zone troopers will pull them out of the sky. Finally, we have Lieutenant Strongarm's turret, which is great for blocking your opponent's movements and will absolutely shred through infantry and aircraft. Use this to your advantage to stop enemy units advancing onto missile pads, or as a safety net to cut down infantry squads you may be struggling with. Now most of these units are fairly cheap, so it's unlikely that you'll need to build a second harvester at all, but if you do, it should be around about the time the first missile goes off. Focus on securing the pads in the early game, but protect your harvester if you need to, and take theirs out if you can. That's really about all there is to this deck. This deck will work right the way up to Tiberium League as it covers all of your bases, but do feel free to try swapping out units if you find your opponents are running decks you have difficulty with, or if you get some really powerful alternatives. If you're really struggling, be sure to check out my Intel Report series, find the unit you're struggling against, and learn how to counter it. Good luck, happy sailing, and see you on the battlefield.